So what I'm going to build today is the Swifty AT650. I got it for a good price on Amazon. I actually was going to buy it and send it out to Portland, or actually ship it out to Portland and then build it there. My daughter didn't think it would be a great idea. I thought it'd be a neat experience for her to build an e-bike or a bike of any kind. So this is me putting this together. Again, this is for the Swifty AT650. It comes in black and orange or black and yellow. And for some reason, the prices were different for the two different colored bikes. I think they both are a little more flashy than I like, but let's see what happens. Getting ready to open it up. There is some damage to the outside of the box, so let's see how it looks. So I don't see any major damage to the frame or anything else yet. There's not a whole lot of foam or styro, which is a good thing in terms of the environment, but in terms of shipping, we'll see what happens. Okay. Okay, so I have the foam set up so I can pull this out and see how that looks. It's not that heavy, which is a good thing. From what I can see so far, nothing is busted. In here is the seat. I generally throw everything back in the box. The downside of doing that is if I'm taking it to the collection center, I have to take all the plastic and styrofoam. So putting it in a different box would be better. Here's the seat. Looks firm. Actually, doesn't feel bad. Okay. Has these orange highlights. Cool for you kiddies out there. So they have a protector that goes in between the fork, so it protects the fork when in shipping, that it doesn't get scrunched. This was already detached. We are going to see if that was a problem or not. All right, comes with a couple of boxes. One of them should be the accessories. So here are the Swifty instructions. It has aluminum and plastic pedals. These guys, here are the tools that are needed. So just the other parts that are needed for that. Yep. So it has a quick release front wheel, which is pretty amazing. It's in here. I hope that's not bent up. And then this should be the charger. Okay, yep, that's the charger. Pretty lightweight. I imagine it probably takes 4 or 5 hours for the battery to charge. It's not a super strong battery. That's part of the reason why the price is probably so good. So I'm going to start taking bits and pieces apart, give you my opinion on what I think in terms of the feel or quality of the materials. It is supposedly an aluminum alloy. It has mountain bike tires, maybe more gravelly, not super knobby, which is probably fine with me. Here, that's much better. Oof. Almost cut them right near the tires. That wouldn't have been good. Okay, so that came apart. The other things in here are like the reflectors and stuff like that. Okay, so we're going to do this. The reason I'm checking this right now to see if the wheel is bent, I just really want to stick this in here. So here is the test. Please don't be bent. Not bad. Neither the disc nor the rims feel like they're bent, so that's a good thing. Joytech is the name of the hubs, is that what you call it? What's the name of it? Joy. That it comes with actually a quick release front tire is some indication that they wanted to pay attention to add some decent things on here. Battery, oddly, the battery is actually attached. The battery is connected already, which I mean, that's an interesting, I can't remember if my other bikes also ship with battery attached. Okay, so I do take it back. There are quite a few things that you have to take apart here. Always when cutting or doing things like that, make sure you're not cutting any cables. I think I'm in good shape so far. And the range is supposedly only 30 miles. Pedal assist. I can't remember if it has a throttle or not. Snipping everything off. All right, the next thing I'm going to try to do is get the fork. There's a warning on here. I should read what it says, but warning, forks must be assembled with this side facing forward. Forks must, oh. So what happens sometimes when you ship a bike, it gets turned the wrong way because it's more compact. And I have seen some builds before when people who haven't built bikes are excited to get it up and running or build it at night. The fork is backwards and they don't know any better because the way that it's sent makes it seem like that's the way it's supposed to be. So we want to make sure that we have the forks turned out. Lock on hand grips with orange highlights. It's interesting, this was not an overly expensive bike, but some of the things they put on there would definitely make it seem like they cared about what they were doing. A lot of times on these kind of bikes, you don't get locking hand grips. So when you're sweating or if you're really gripping things, the grips spin off or they spin. They will not do that on these. They feel like there's not a lot of cushion to them. That's okay. So I'm going to pull this up. So one of my biggest fears right now is when I finally get to the forks and try to put the tires on the wheel on, that it's going to be bent because that protective little bar was not on here. So that's going to be my biggest concern, is the bar that goes between the forks, where the wheel mounts was not there. So, okay. So first things first is to get this down and out. So that's the front. There are the keys. This is how it goes. So I need to get the tools off to take this apart and put this right here. Okay, so let me do that. You know, it really was not heavy pulling it out of the box. And that's with the battery attached. So everything I pulled out was the actual weight of the bicycle and not the weight without the battery, because the battery is attached. Okay, so off come these guys. It's a pretty long stem for the handlebars for here, from here to here. What is my cat doing? So once we get the handlebars on, and then we will get the tire mounted. The front fork is nothing special. It does not have lockout. There's no adjustment for the spring rate up top. You might be able to adjust from the bottom. But these shocks are really, they're not meant for anything more to make sure that your teeth don't get jarred loose and to add weight to the bicycle. They really end up probably being better off with just getting a suspension seat. All right, so this is a little hard to believe, but I just need to get air in the tires. It's got 3 bars out of 4 for charge. I'm sure it's not quite that full. So I'm going to pump air into it, and I'm actually going to bring it outside and take it for a quick spin, but I'm going to pause. You don't have to hear the air noise. All right, so I know that this sounds crazy, but this is the initial riding review after taking 30 minutes to build this Swifty AT650 e-bike. There's some things that are really good about it and some things that are average or below average. But I must say, for the quickest build for an e-bike from scratch, it had 3/4 power. It is zippy. It only has this type of display, so you have no idea what your speed is or your odometer or trip mileage, so you use your phone for that. It has, I'm going to call it a useless shock because it's really just meant for bumps in the road, speed bumps, not for anything that would be on a mountain or big boulders and rocks. It just it bottoms out. I weigh 180 pounds, so that might be one reason why it bottoms out. But just in terms of the bike itself, again, those are lock-on hand grips. Not very cushiony, but good enough. No headlights or rear. I have the reflectors, I need to put them on there. A completely, for non-bumpy roads, front suspension, no rear suspension. The seat is just ridiculous. If you look, it's almost higher in the middle than the front or rear, which is the exact opposite of what you want. This would be the first thing I'd replace. It's got a kickstand, disc brakes, which need to set or do a little bit of work. It's got a Shimano tourney. It's got a protector. When you see that on a bike, it kind of tells you it's a cheap bike, but you know, maybe that's helpful when you drop it. Let's see if this front chain guard it's plastic, but it's on both sides. I've had some e-bikes that had only one side and they would just jump off. It's going to take a whole lot for it to jump off of here because it's got to jump off one side or the other. It has a cadence, pretty good size cadence sensor for pedaling. It doesn't feel force, it just feels the amount that you're pedaling or rotations, and then it gives you power for that. The battery said it was, this battery shows that it's only 1 bar, but on the display it says that it's 3/4. Okay, so you probably would like this much better in bright light. Here, I'll turn this on. So you can see it's on 3/4 power. It's on the lowest level, or it's at 0 power, and then you pump, there's a plus and minus here. So that's full power. And unless this bike only gets like 8 or 10 miles, the power is sufficient. It's actually faster than some other